everybody, and welcome back to my Mirror's Edge Let's Play. This is Chapter 2, and here we go. Now, I want to talk about one thing that might get overlooked with this game, and it's the music. If you don't know, it's composed by this artist named Solar Fields. It's a single person. I thought it was a group when I first heard the name, but it's actually a single person. And I don't know, just recently I've really been getting into a lot of ambient electronic music. If you know me, you know I like trance, mostly upbeat, kind of hard. And the blooper reel begins, guys. In case you were wondering, no, this is not a speed run. You know, in case that was a little confusing to you guys. But Solar Fields, which is an artist I hadn't heard of until I played this game, and I really like music like this, especially because I feel like it's like perfect study music. I really like it a lot. I find it completely invaluable, which is surprising to me because, like I said before, I'm really into trance. I'm still into it, especially the upbeat hard version of it. If you guys are into electronic music, that sort of thing. And by the way, I'm really only into trance. I'm not really into like dubstep or anything like that. And I do apologize, I know I'm talking over the dialogue, so please bear with me. So I'm apparently supposed to jump leaps and bounds over there. Apparently they're confusing me with Neo from the Matrix. I don't know why, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Oh gosh. See, this highlights actually another complaint that I have about this game, where it looks like Faith actually will grab onto something, like a ledge or whatever the case may be, a ledge or a pipe or something, but she doesn't. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just me playing this game, or maybe it's the controls, because sometimes it's just I have a bit of a hard time with this. So, okay, she at least grabbed onto that, which is great. So for me, it's almost kind of like a guessing game at times. Half of the time when I'm doing these jumps, I really just kind of don't know if she's going to grab on or not. There are moments where it looks like she's going to grab on and she doesn't. And there's moments where it looks like she's about, 50 miles away from the ledge or whatever it is she wants to grab, and she attaches to it like a magnet. So I gotta figure that out. Not that I've really played this game enough times to be able to figure that out, but it's just an interesting conquest, I'll say. So yeah, anyway, back to the music. I actually really like it a lot. I'm trying to think what other games have a soundtrack like this. And the thing that I really like about this game is that the artist was able to compose music for kind of like the mellow parts of the game where you're just doing parkour. You can kind of just focus on the parkour. There's nothing terribly urgent that you need to do, versus the intense moments, and that's usually when you're in a combat situation or you need to run away from an enemy. And I like it because it's kind of like seamlessly, the music for both of those types of sequences kind of seamlessly blend into each other, and I like that a lot. And that just kind of brings up for me this whole general video game music topic. And for me, even though I like quite a bit of soundtracks for modern games, and I consider this a modern game. This game came out several years ago at this point, but still, to me, it's modern. But this is gonna sound a little weird, but honestly, I prefer 8-bit and 16-bit. To me, that's the height of video game. That was an ugly landing, but I stuck it and I survived, so I'll accept that. But for me, my favorite era in terms of video game music is 8 and 16-bit. I think with a preference more towards the 16-bit era. Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, to me, had the best music. And I think, for me, in my opinion, and I know everybody's different, for me, the reason why I like that era the most out of all the generations of games that I've played is because is mainly because it was a little more sophisticated than the 8-bit era, but it was still pretty limited. Like, you couldn't have a 100-piece orchestra or something like that. So you had to make do. The composers had to make do with what they had, whatever the sound processor was for the Genesis or the Super Nintendo. And you guys know more than I, really creative stuff.
Kate?
What are you doing here?
What happened? Did you?
No! You don't recognize him?
Should I?
It's Robert. Robert Pope, friend of Dad's.
Shit, that Pope.
He called me. We hadn't talked much since I joined up. He had a break-in last week. He's still a campaigner. Don't you read the news?
It's not news anymore. It's advertising.
He was running for mayor.
So the break-in must have really spooked him then.
That's what I thought. But it was odd. He told me about the break-in, asked me to come, then asked after you.
Really? I haven't seen him for at least 10 years.
Anyway, he was alive when I got here. Just sitting at his desk, writing. Everything went black. When I came to, he'd been shot. And I'm pretty sure it's with my gun. There was a book on the desk, a diary. It was gone. I'm sure there was someone else in the building. Left my radio in the car, haven't had time to phone it in.
Come on, come with me. I'll take you somewhere safe.
This isn't the time to run. I'm not like you. Running will just make me look guilty.
You think this was an accident, Kate? There are no accidents in this city. Someone wanted him dead and wanted you to take the fall.
Help me, Effie, please. You've got contacts. There's gotta be more to this. Something he knew. Something he wanted to tell me.
I can't get involved in this, Kate. You know what I do. I just can't.
Blue's incoming, Faith. You might want to be outgoing right about, now.
I'll see what I can do.
If this goes down badly, find Lieutenant Miller, my superior. Take anything you find to him.
I'm serious, Faith. Remember, they're not playing nice. Get out of there.
Now go! And Faith, thank you.
Okay, looks like I'm back in control here. Just like that, I'm on the run again. But going back to this, I think if you guys see my music collection, my video game music collection, I think the vast majority will be Genesis and Super Nintendo games. And I've always said that my favorite song, not only for the Super Nintendo, which, there's debate whether the Genesis had a better soundtrack versus the Super Nintendo. See, my stance is this. I like them both. I played them both as a kid. I played both systems as a kid. And I think I played more Super Nintendo games than I did Genesis games. So there's more songs that are iconic for me for the Super Nintendo. But I actually like the way the Genesis sounds, if that makes any sense. The way the synthesizer is. I don't know what the technical terms are, but I like the way the songs sound. For instance, Theme of Simon. You had Theme of Simon as a song in Castlevania 4, which is a Super Nintendo game. And then just recently, I learned about Castlevania Bloodlines, the Genesis game. And apparently there was also a version of that song in that game as well. And I really like that version. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Super Nintendo version is classic. But I really like the way it was kind of Genesified, which is a term I made up. I'm trademarking it. Nobody steal it. Okay, so let me get out of here. So I kind of like the Genesis version of music. If there's ever a song that appears on both the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, I'm more biased towards the Genesis. Don't know why. And as a matter of fact, now that I mention that, I just recently found a YouTube channel which is pretty sweet, where there's this guy who remixed a lot of... Oh, I really thought I was dead right there. Remixed a lot of Mega Man songs you know, with kind of a Genesis feel to them. I don't remember the name of the YouTube channel. I might put it in my description, but it's actually pretty awesome. I would definitely, if anybody's a remixer out there, definitely remix more Nintendo songs to have that Genesis sound. That would be pretty awesome. I think there'd be so many songs that would be just badass. So let me see here. So you'll see here, even though I do love the style of this game, like I said, I love this kind of like sterile feel to it. It always comes back to bite me in the ass because everything looks the same. The buildings do kind of look the same after a while. So I can understand if people critique it in that way. I get it. So sometimes it causes me to get lost. Sometimes the way's not obvious. Hell, even though they paint pathways red, sometimes I'm still a little oblivious to it. This helicopter's still chasing me down. That's pretty impressive. Sweet. Oh, he's right there. Great. Okay. And I did an awesome thing by exposing myself even more. Okay, so finally the way is clear. Let me go this way. Oh gosh, there's enemies there. Okay. I like how they encourage you to go this way and the police don't come this way at all. Like, they know fully well, if she didn't come straight to us, she went to her right. Not that requires too much effort. And these elevator scenes you saw in the previous one, there was a bunch of text on there. I didn't even really pay attention to it. But that's where a lot of the story is, and I'm just kind of like, okay, well, if you're gonna treat the story like that, then why should I care? I don't know. And this is this is not an inconspicuous loading screen at all, is it? Jeez. And that brings up another thing. So the elevators are clearly loading an opportunity for the game to load. And watch this. There you go. Did you see that? It's loading the level again. And it makes even less sense because you're in the middle of running, so you lose whatever momentum you have. And that's really irritating. You're going to see that again coming up very shortly. And I don't know if they didn't have a choice but to put the loading, to kind of put a load thingamajig there, but they really should have, for this game more than any other game, a parkour game, a game about building up a rhythm and running around, they really should have done better with that. So that's another bit of a critique I have. So I am really excited about the second game, but I'm always afraid that they're going to change the identity. They're going to make a game so different than the original one, which kind of the original spirit that made this game so great. I hope it's not going to be lost in the second game, but we'll see. I don't even know when this next game is going to come out. Mirror's Edge 2. Like I said before in my first video, I don't know if it's a sequel or a prequel, but I actually, believe it or not, as much as I criticize the way the story is presented here, because you can tell there's really not an emphasis on the story. It's kind of, here we go again. This is what I mentioned before, this loading. It's really nonsensical. But I really hope that they do improve the story. I kind of would like to see, it would be very interesting to see the story in more of the forefront this time around as I battle Brunette Wesker here. Seriously, does that not look like Wesker? I'm gonna battle Mr. Clean right here, and we're done. I think those are the only two cops I have to fight, so I'm gonna throw my gun right there. The reason why I always throw away my gun is A, it always has limited ammo, and B, so it's not like you can pick up ammo for the gun. You always have to pick up a new gun, which is kind of weird, but that's how the game is. And B, when you're carrying the gun, Faith moves a little differently versus if her hands are completely free, so I always just kind of throw it away when I get the chance. I think she can still kind of grab onto stuff, but I just don't really like the way she doesn't feel as nimble with a weapon in her hand.
okay? Come on.
You did good, Faith. No word on what's got the Blues so trigger happy, but I'll keep on it. And, don't worry about your sis, okay? We'll fix
So
it.
that's the end of that chapter. Pretty quick.
What the hell, Merc?
Something's got somebody rattled, kiddo. I don't know what it is, but they're mighty jittery. Hey, Sal.
Take long to lose him?
Nah, those Blues can't move for shit. They've gotten a little gun happy, though.
Wires are fizzing about Pope's murder. Blue traffic is up. Way up. Don't know what's got into them. Must be contract renewal time. Be careful out there, Sal.
So why all the heat?
Our girl's been lifting evidence from a crime scene. Now every cop in the city seems to be after her.
That the evidence you lifted?
Yeah, I think it's from a diary. Rest of it was gone. All I can make out are Icarus, maybe, and To the Highest.
Icarus. Wasn't he the Greek guy?
Yeah, his dad made him some wings out of feathers and wax. Then the boy flew too close to the sun. And psst, no more wings, no more Icarus. If anyone's heard anything, then you know who it'll be, Faith.
Yeah?
I know he ain't a runner anymore, but he's got contacts. You can't avoid him forever.
Wanna bet?
Who?
Jackknife.
Drake's got a location on Jackknife. He's on some rooftops at the old runner training ground near the storm drains. Route's crawling with Blues, though.
Alright, so we're on to the next chapter, but it's going to wait until next time. I know you guys are dying to see more parkour action, but rest assured, you'll see it in the next video. Alright.